Operators of short-term rentals in Fort Worth are now suing the city over new regulations. According to our partners at the Star-Telegram, more than 100 people have signed on to that lawsuit, saying the rules violate economic liberty and their rights as private property owners.
Hey guys, this is Sean Ray, and today I'm going to be going over the crazy, juicy drama that's happening in Fort Worth that's going to then echo into the Dallas area because the exact same thing just happened in Dallas. Fort Worth Short-Term Rental Alliance is now suing the city of Fort Worth because of their recent ban of short-term rentals. Now, what Dallas just did is basically followed the exact same thing Fort Worth did. So what we're going to see is that copy and paste mentality. If it wins in Fort Worth, it might win in Dallas. But the markets aren't exactly the same. Now, and able to actually see why the Fort Worth Short-Term Rental Alliance has an actual case and could actually win, whereas Dallas might or might not, we'll see, is because we have to go back and look at the history of exactly how we got here today. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I know this video sounded like it was going to be a boring legal video, but it really is interesting once you kind of start figuring the puzzle pieces out and you put them together. So stick with me. I promise you, you're going to enjoy this video. So the first case that I want to talk about is actually Tar versus Timberbrook. Now this is a really landmark case because in Texas, we didn't really have an exact definition of how we define residential use versus commercial use until this case. At least that's what I've read online. All this stuff is not legal advice. It's all just what I've read online after getting into a really coffee binge hole on trying to research all this stuff. But why this case was important is that Tar, he was using his condo for Airbnb. And they said, hey, this is not residential use, this is commercial use, and that is against our HOA rules. Therefore, you need to get rid of this. And then he's saying, hey, this wasn't commercial use. This is a residential use because I'm renting it out and I'm allowed to rent it out. They're saying less than 30 days is actually called hotel use, and hotel lodging is not permitted. And so then we had to go back with the lawyers, not we, I wasn't a part of it. They had to go back with the lawyers and figure out what is residential use and how is it defined. What was found during that case is that in that specific case, residential use is now defined as someone's ability to use their own home or their own property for lodging. Now that lodging could be a year long or it could be less than 30 days. And so since the bylaws themselves specifically stated it cannot be commercial use and they did not define commercial use as that lodging, then therefore he got away with it. And it was great. And now on the books forever, then now it's contested what is residential use. In that specific situation, if the bylaws said for residential use and then later on asterisk, residential use is defined as someone's lodging, personal lodging, or someone's ability to rent out a property longer than 30 days, and then they had this argument, then no, he would have lost, which actually worked for us because as investors, because now it allowed residential use and the definition of it to be kind of in question, but it actually works against us because now it ruled in that case that if it was specifically defined as residential use is equal to this, then it would not have worked in his favor. So if that makes sense, I mean, it gives us power, but also takes it away. But it also defined commercial use as a property that had signage as marketing materials, like signage to promote exterior marketing from the street, or someone that works on the location, like an employee, a full-time employee, short-term employee. Think of like, say for instance, a hotel, how they always have someone checking people in, or some kind of bellhop or something like a host interaction person. So that is not what that business is. Therefore, it's not considered a commercial use. The next big one was Atari versus the city of Austin, which is actually probably going to become more a factor when it comes to the Dallas civil lawsuit, because the Dallas, the way that they handled their Airbnbs is more like Austin, whereas the Fort Worth way of handling their Airbnbs is not like Austin, and this is why. In Austin, they actually allow people to do Airbnb, and they gave them the license as long as they maintain some kind of rules and hotel taxes and stuff like that, just like they did in Dallas. But then later on, they zoned them out of existence, and then they made it to where it was impossible to do it or illegal to do it. What this Atari ended up finding in the ruling was that you are not able to have certain rights and then retroactively get them removed by the local state or county. And so in the end, Atari ended up winning And so what they did do is they defined all previous people can be grandfathered in. Anybody that had an Airbnb before continue to do Airbnb as long as they fit in all the certain rules and guidelines that the city has approved. But any future Airbnbs, the licenses could not be given out. Therefore, if you don't have a license, therefore it's illegal. That was the whole ruling of that case. I can see that potentially happening in Dallas. Hopefully, we'll see. But we'll have to figure out what's happening in Fort Worth first, because what happened in Fort Worth is they never even allowed it. They never said, hey, we're going to give you a license or anything like that. They never set up any rules, no boundaries, no guidelines. They just said, hey, not allowed. And by the way, now it's 100% not allowed. It could also be defined that Dallas did not even allow people to do it in the first place. They wanted them to pay hotel taxes, but there was in certain cities actual defined rules and guidelines that you get a license you have to print out and actually put on the window of any Airbnbs. So then now Dallas can define that they did not actually allow it to happen because of the license. They didn't actually have people pay the license, print it out, and put it on the windows. So that's going to be very interesting as well. But again, since Fort Worth never actually even went down that path, that's very different than the Austin direction. So if they try to use Zatari, that might or might not help, but at least it sets some kind of guideline for an argument to happen. The Fort Worth team is using the same legal team that just overturned a case. There was a 2018 case in Grapevine just recently in June. What happened there, it was Grapevine versus Munns, and the court denied Grapevine's ability to ban all Airbnbs or any short-term rentals in less than 30 days. The reason they were able to do that is that the legal team was able to sort in the Texas Constitution that was unconstitutional due to a section called the takings in due course of law. And that goes against their natural and inherent and alienable rights to lease their property to others. Now, they're currently going after this direction, and I hope they win. I hope they're able to get what they're trying to get out of the case based on the Grapevine case. But at the same time, Grapevine is saying, no, we're not taking away your rights. Your rights are still there. You just have to do it in the right zoned areas. So, and able to have your rights, just you don't want the zoning, change the zoning. And that's probably not going to happen because changing zoning is very difficult. You might have a lot of hope watching this video if you're an Airbnb owner in Dallas or Fort Worth because of all these other cases that have gone well. But at the same time, keep in mind that Arlington's been going through this ban as well. And Fort Worth was the main county that was making the decision for Arlington. And Arlington went ahead with the ban. Arlington was able to zone out any kind of Airbnbs or short-term rentals that weren't in with a specific district. And so even after fighting and having the legal team and everything there, they still ruled on the side of the city versus the side of the owners. So not all things are peachy and everything is going great. This is still a really intense legal battle, and things might or might not go our way. But if it does go our way, it still is more than 2 or 3 years out. So the amount of legal fees that people can acquire in that time could be very, very detrimental to profits, or even potentially taking people's rights, taking out of their taxes from the county. It can get pretty complicated. So if you want to take your risk and not sell your house or lease your house, then this is something that could happen. Now, also keep in mind that another part of the Fort Worth Short-Term Rental Alliance, they're also doing a part of their case is that the city has infringed on their rights to be property owners as well due to their beefing up of their security. Their surveillance security is now out of control. And so the people that are supposedly, I can't say this is or is not the truth, but they're saying that they have insane amount of monitoring going on their properties to try to catch them if they're doing short-term rentals or not. So they have people staking out their places with videos, cameras, always knocking on the doors, bothering them, and just trying to get all the video evidence they can when it could potentially be someone's personal home. So imagine if they think that it's an Airbnb, but they don't have all the proof. And you have like freaking CIA agents basically sitting outside your house in the van, just scoping in on you and watching what you're doing in your privacy of your house. Like, that could get a little ridiculous. The surveillance and monitoring is something that I'm not super excited about because I'm not about big government. And the people that have signed the petition, there's only like 100-something people that signed the petition. The Fort Worth is going after them really hard. Like they're getting really aggressive on anyone that's on a list. And so that also affects us Airbnb owners in Dallas, because we have a list too. All those people that paid their taxes or that are still paying their taxes, they're using that list to help fund their attack against us. And on top of that, they're using that list to go after those people because they already have an easy case against them. So there's going to be a Dallas Short-Term Rental Alliance meeting at the end of the month. And so I'm going to be going to that. They're talking about their legal team and what they're going to be drawing out for their battle. And so I'll keep you updated on that if you guys want. But if there's anything else you guys want to see in this channel and you want me to cover, I'm happy to cover general real estate information, more about this legal battle, or if you have anything else you're interested in, make sure to comment below and I'm happy to give it to you. I'm all about free content and allowing you the most value as possible. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment below. See you in the next one.